Hello and welcome back to another episode of CougZone. I'm your host, Katelyn Cherney.
And I'm your co-host, Jhett Heckert. Baseball is finally here with the start of their season underway. Plus, with golf getting into the swing of things, and also both swimming and track putting up record-breaking times. The Cougs are bringing tons of excitement for this spring season with lots of athletes to look out for.
All that and so much more.
Right here, only on
CougZone.
CougZone.
From February 9th through February 11th, women's golf competed at the Mountain Classic Match Play at Classic Club in Palm Springs, California. On February 9th, the Cougs opened the tournament with a tiebreaker victory over Weber State. Senior Hannah Harrison's dominant 6-5 win provided the deciding margin, while freshman Caitlin Helm also earned a win, and freshman Anya Cito secured a halved match to help Washington State advance.
On February 10th, the Cougars fell to Montana State 4-0-1 in the semifinal round. Helm rallied from 3 down to win her match with a clutch birdie on the 18th hole, and junior Sarah Pineros picked up her second straight individual victory. WSU closed out the event on February 11th with a strong 4-0-1 win over Utah Valley.
Helm led the way with a 7-5 victory. Harrison and sophomore Agnes Brink each won 2-1, and Cito clinched her matched one-up birdie on the final hole. The 3-day tournament was played in a head-to-head match play format at a par 72 Classic Club. Up next, the Cougars are in Arizona for the Westbrook Invitational February 22nd and 23rd.
On to men's golf. WSU competed in the season-opening John Burns Intercollegiate Tournament in Lihue, Hawaii, February 13th to the 15th. Wazoo placed 12th out of a 19-team field, posting a 54-hole total of 19 over par. Redshirt junior Ben Borgida posted the best single-day score of 1 under par on the final day of the tournament.
Senior Sam Renner posted the best score out of all 3 days, however finishing a score of 2 over par, tied for 21st overall. The Cougs then flew to California to compete in the Prestige Tournament on February 16th and the 17th. The tournament was originally scheduled as a 3-day slate. However, due to high winds around the area, the final day was canceled.
WSU was able to finish 8th place in a 24-team bracket. Freshman Dylan Bowenning shot an impressive 4 under par, carding a 67 on the last day. Wazoo came off the tee box hot as they carded 8 birdies collectively on just the first 3 holes. Renner could not have had a better start to his day, going birdie, eagle, birdie on his first 3 holes. Bowenning finished as the only Coug to shoot under par, going 1 under 2 during the 2 matches. Let's hope they keep up that momentum moving forward.
Baseball opened up their season on February 13th in Tuscaloosa to take on Alabama for a 3-game series. The Cougs got off to a hot start in Game 1, scoring 5 runs in the first 5 innings. Senior Max Hartman led the way for the Cougs, going 3 for 3 with a single, double, and a home run. Recently named captain senior Ryan Chauncey hit a 2-run blast in the 4th inning to push the Cougs to an 8-4 win over the Crimson Tide.
Games 2 and 3 were a different story for the Cougs. In Game 2, Alabama's bats started heating up, leading to an 8-1 victory for the Crimson Tide. The pitching for WSU struggled to keep the ball out of play, only striking out 6 batters the entire game. One highlight for the Cougs was freshman center fielder Trevor Smith, who made a spectacular catch in the bottom of the 4th.
Game 3 was very similar to Game 2, where WSU pitching once again struggled, allowing for 11 runs for Alabama's offense. Errors by WSU defense kept innings alive and gave the Crimson Tide more opportunities to cash in runs. The final score of 11-1 set the Cougs at 1-2 record on the young season. WSU will still have to wait until late March, however, to play their first home game in Bailey Brayton Field.
Tennis had a tough weekend in Utah, falling to 6-1 to 8-1 BYU February 13th and 4-3 to 5-1 Utah February 14th. Senior Eva Alvarez Sande won the lone point against BYU, sweeping in the #1 singles before the Cougs dropped the rest of the matches. The next day, the Cougs put up somewhat of a tougher fight against the Utes. Utah swept the Cougs in the doubles point and took the lead with a single point after sophomore Martina Poolville dropped her match.
Redshirt senior Maxine Murphy and freshman Ava Monet Sycamore pulled off their wins in their matches, tying the match at 2-2. Redshirt junior Yura Nakagawa played the deciding match, unfortunately falling to Utah in 2 sets. Tough matchups on the road were certainly a problem for the Cougs, but a 3-match homestand turned things around for WSU. Starting off with Portland State February 20th.
Despite dropping the opening doubles point, the Cougs took 5 of 6 singles matches, led by Alvarez Sande with a 6-1 and 6-0 bagel singles win. Poolville also dominated her match, winning 6-2 and 6-1 respectively. Murphy pulled out a 3-set win, followed by junior Zali Morris with a double bagel win. This was Morris's first match back from injury, playing in the beginning of January. Nakagawa and Morris were the only pair with a doubles win on the day.
The Cougs then took care of business in a doubleheader at home against Montana and Montana State February 22nd. Taking out Montana 5-2 first, WSU dominated in singles once again, taking 5 of 6. The doubles side was less convincing, coming down to a 3-set tiebreaker between Alvarez Sande and Pavil, and the Grizz #2 pair Nakagawa and Morris took down Montana's #3 pair easily 6-1.
We're here at Hollingberry Fieldhouse where the Cougs just picked up a 6-1 victory against the Montana Grizzlies. In doubles action, the Cougs narrowly defeated the Grizzlies, winning 2 out of 3 games, and then in singles actions, the Cougs had some phenomenal performances to get them over the top. On February 22nd, the WSU tennis team picked up a 6-1 win over the visiting Montana Grizzlies at Hollingberry Fieldhouse. In doubles play, WSU got an early win with Yura Nakagawa and Zali Morris winning their matchup 6-1. The Grizzlies then evened out the series with a 6-1 win of their own over Maxine Murphy and Chisato Kanamaki. All eyes then turned to the last doubles matchup where Eva Alvarez Sande and Martina Poolville were down big 5-2. But WSU completed the spectacular comeback, winning the last 5 games in a row to give them the 7-5 victory, which gave WSU the early 1-0 win in the game. In singles play, WSU won all 5 of the matchups they played. The only win the Grizzlies got was by walkover. Maxine Murphy picked up a 6-3, 7-5 win in her singles matchup. Yura Nakagawa won a 6-3, 6-4 matchup. Martina Poolville won her game 6-3, 6-3, and Chisato Kanamaki won 6-4, 6-1. The biggest and most amazing performance of the day by WSU was by Eva Alvarez Sande, who won her matchup 6-1, 6-0, not allowing a single set win by her opponent in the second game. The biggest part of Alvarez Sande's game that was most impressive was her ability to pinpoint the ball where her opponent wasn't. This win marks the second in a row for the Cougs as they get ready to travel to Seattle next week to take on UW. Sending it back to you guys in the studio.
Montana State was an even easier matchup for the Cougs, taking care of doubles quickly, only needing 2 matches to do so. The Cougs sealed the deal on the Bobcats with consecutive top 3 singles wins from Alvarez Sande, Murphy, and Poolville. Guess after this weekend, you could say the state of Montana is no match for Cougar tennis.
This week, the swimming competed from the 18th to the 21st at Mountain West Conference Championships. WSU closed the championship with 2 more titles on Saturday to finish second overall in Houston.
Sophomore Darcy Revitt took first in the 100 freestyle event, while the 400 free relay team of freshmen Barbara Malesite, sophomore Isabella Parrish, senior Emily Lundgren, and Revitt also defeated competition, taking home first.
With this, Revitt was named co-swimmer of the meet. WSU finished second just behind San Diego State, finishing the weekend with 7 titles. The Cougs' second-place score is the best finish at a conference championship in program history.
Senior Anna Rockholtz opened the day in prelims with a WSU top 10 time in the 200 backstroke with a time of 1 minute and 56 seconds. Sophomore Ashlyn Hernandez added a second top 10 time score in the 200 back event with a time of 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Revitt also broke her own school record, the Mountain West record, and the pool record in the 100 free event with a time of 47 seconds.
In the evening finals, freshman Vivian Nett posted a 16:49 for 9th best 1650 free mark in program history. Freshman Avery Bulkley went 16:38 for 7th best, and sophomore Tatum Janning led the others with a time of 16:28 for 4th best mark and 3rd place finish.
Men's basketball headed up to Spokane February 10th for a rematch against 12th ranked Gonzaga. Falling 83-53, WSU was held to a season-low 53 points despite having a trio of double-digit scorers in the second half. The Cougs struggled with control the entire game and gave up 21 turnovers.
WSU bounced back against the Pacific with a dominant 87-70 win at home. The Cougars made 14 three-pointers led by Rihards Vavers, going 5 for 5 beyond the arc and scoring a game-high 21 points.
Washington State lost 83-67 to St. Mary's College at home February 21st on the Cougars' senior night. Wazoo kept it close going into the half, 40-39, but St. Mary's took control early in the second half, eventually extending their lead to 16 points to close out the game.
Hello, I'm Grant Chisholm. I'm here at Beasley Coliseum, where the Cougs ultimately came up short against St. Mary's. A standout performance from Vavers and Okafor kept the Cougs close, but in the end, St. Mary's earned the season sweep against the Cougs. On February 21st, WSU faced off against St. Mary's for their senior night. In the first half, the game was tight at a score of 40-39. WSU was only down by 1 point and seemed destined to make a second-half comeback to win them the game. But in the second half, St. Mary's locked in defensively, limiting the Cougs to 28 points, and scored 43 points offensively, earning them an 83-67 win. As for the Cougs, they were led by Ace Glass and Andy Okafor, who both had 15 points apiece. Rihards Vavers also earned himself a 12-point performance, while the junior guard, Jerome Morton, was 2 for 2 at the three-point line. One of the big issues for the Cougs was their percentage at the three-point line in the second half. In the first half, they were at 58.3% percentage from three, but in the second half, that dropped to a 0% as they went 0 for 7 against a high-powered St. Mary's team. This is the last home game of the 2026 season for the Cougs. We'll see you next year, right back at Beasley Coliseum. Go Cougs!
On February 12th, women's basketball faced Portland and came out swinging with a 12-point lead in the first quarter. But a second quarter three-point run from Portland proved decisive in a 68-61 loss at Beasley Coliseum. The Cougars finished with 16 assists, 8 steals, and 3 blocks, while shooting 51% from the field and controlling the interior, outscoring Portland 32-16 in the paint. Sophomore guard Charlotte Abraham led Washington State with 18 points, 8 rebounds, 4 steals, and 2 blocks.
WSU dominated early, holding Portland to just 2 first-quarter points and building a 14-2 lead while forcing 6 turnovers. The Cougars extended the margin to 18-4 before losing all the momentum and letting Portland catch fire from deep, knocking down 7 second-quarter threes to take the lead into halftime.
Washington State stayed within striking distance in the second half, briefly reclaiming the lead during a back-and-forth third quarter before Portland pulled ahead late. The Cougars continued to press in the fourth and shot perfectly at the free throw line, but key Portland baskets held off the comeback attempt.
Next up, the Cougs traveled to Spokane to battle Gonzaga on the road February 19th, but fell by a score of 75-50 at the McCarthy Athletic Center. The Cougs generated 28 points in the paint and held Gonzaga to just 8 points off turnovers, while continuing to attack inside throughout the night. Villa led the Cougs with 13 points and 5 assists, while junior center Alex Colville added 10 points in the paint.
WSU opened with strong defensive energy and early interior scoring, staying within reach after the first quarter. Villa helped spark the offense in the second period as the Cougars trimmed the deficit to 5 midway through the quarter. but a late Gonzaga run pushed the halftime margin to double digits. WSU continued to compete heading into the second half, forcing turnovers and contesting shots, but the deficit was just too much for the Cougs as Gonzaga sealed the outcome late to secure the win.
After facing Gonzaga, the Cougars then traveled to Corvallis where they faced the Beavers February 21st, but couldn't overcome a hot shooting first half from Oregon State, falling 79-51 at Gill Coliseum. Colville led the Cougars with 15 points, while redshirt freshman guard Keandra Kuritz added 13th off the bench. WSU controlled the glass at times, finishing with 35 rebounds and 26 points in the paint.
The Cougars were able to cut the deficit to 12 in the third quarter and continued to compete into the fourth, but Oregon State's perimeter shooting and early lead proved too much to overcome.
Wrapping up day one of the Husky Classic Invitation with the track and field team February 13th. Many individuals made more program history titles, like junior Katelyn Stevens finishing strong in second place in the 5,000-meter race, making him the fourth fastest in WSU history.
Freshman Branda Kebor had the fastest WSU time in the 3,000-meter with a time of 9 minutes and 23 seconds, following up with 3 other Cougs tracking their own personal bests.
Day 2 of the Husky Classic with sophomore Rosemary Longisa and junior Xenia Cheptu breaking more school records in the 800-meter and 5,000-meter. Cheptu breaking her own record in the 5K by 30 seconds, now holding the time of 15 minutes and 18 seconds. Longisa breaks the 2 minutes on the 800-meter and now holding the fastest time in the West region at 1 minute and 59 seconds.
The women's mile brought a lot of personal bests, calling out the best mile of that day by junior Nicole Bissell with a time of 4 minutes and 48 seconds. On February 22nd, we had 2 individuals heading to the East Coast Battle for Boston. Sophomore Evans Karui will be competing in the 5K and Cheptu in the 3K. With a stellar finish, Karui ran 13 minutes and 27 seconds, getting a second place in the East Coast Battle for Boston in the invite, ranking him 20th in the nation for the 5K.
On the women's side, Cheptu fought till the end and finished with 8 minutes and 57 seconds, placing her 27th in the nation for the 3K. All the Cougs will be traveling to Reno, Nevada to finish up their indoor regular season at the MPSF Championships, March 1st and 2nd. Good luck to all of our Cougar track stars.
Men's basketball senior Emmanuel Ugbo is officially out for the remainder of the season. Coach David Riley confirmed the news February 23rd after an ongoing suspension from the team since January 28th. The suspension is due to a protection order filed against Ugbo from WSU volleyball player Lauren Johnson in late January due to issues starting between the two in December. The civil protection was officially granted by Whitman County Judge on February 18th. Riley says the decision to uphold the suspension is, quote, the best course of action.
On the brighter side of things for men's basketball, the program celebrated their 2 remaining seniors, Simon Hildebrandt and Adria Rodriguez, before their game against St. Mary's to February 21st. Both first-year Cougs who chose to spend their final year on the collegiate stage in Pullman. However, Coach Riley alluded to one of the seniors possibly seeking an extra year of eligibility in a press conference after the game. Whether both, one, or neither return, thank you both for your contributions this season. And let's finish the season strong, Cougs.
It's time to get excited for the Kirby Moore era. Football announced its 2026 spring practice schedule February 23rd. The Cougs will pick things back up March 26th and travel around the state for practices in Tri-Cities and Spokane as well. These practices out of Pullman will follow with a kids clinic run by WSU players and coaches. Finally, the team will wrap things up in the spring with the program's annual Crimson and Gray Inter-Squad game April 25th at Giesa Field. That's all for news around Cougar athletics. Let's check out what's on the slate for the rest of sports. As some sports are nearing the end of their season, let's see what's on the calendar for the next couple of weeks. Starting off with men's basketball as they travel down to Los Angeles to face LMU February 25th. Then afterwards staying in California to play Pepperdine February 28th. And finally we'll play in the Credit Union 1 WCC Basketball Championship from March 5th to the 10th.
Women's basketball last 2 regular season games will be held at Beasley as they play Seattle University February 26th and St. Mary College of California February 28th. They will also play in the WCC Basketball Championship from March 5th to the 10th.
Baseball has a busy road schedule as they start off playing BYU February 26th and 27th. Then on the same day, the 27th, and March 1st, they will play Long Beach State, and after that series, they will go against Texas State March 5th through the 8th.
Tennis will face off against UW February 27th, immediately followed by UC Santa Barbara in Seattle as well, February 28th. Then lastly, they play Pepperdine March 3rd.
Track and field will compete in the MPSF Indoor Championships March 1st and 2nd. Then a couple of weeks later, they will race in the NCAA Indoor Championships in Arkansas March 13th and 14th. Thanks for watching. Want more WSN content? Follow us on all of our social media at Wazoo Sports Network on Instagram and TikTok at Wazoo Sports Network on X.
Also, make sure to like and subscribe to Cable 8 Productions on YouTube for more amazing content like a new episode of Crimson Corner.
And our merch store is live. Click the link in our Instagram bio to see all the WSN swag available for purchase. Once again, I'm Katelyn Cherney.
And I'm Jhett Heckert. It was our pleasure to be your host today, and we'll catch you next time.
Right here, only on
CougZone.
Woo!